Yo, yo, yo. I got my smart man glasses on tonight. Intelligent Gator, I guess. Something like that. How's it going, guys? Happy, whatever day it is. Wednesday, FOMC day. Fun afternoon. No, really not fun afternoon. Kind of moderate afternoon, to be honest with you. But relatively okay morning once things got going. We'll take a look at the plan that I put together this morning, the 4 names I was looking at, how they traded, how they played, what I got right, what I got to improve on, and then maybe what we're looking at for the rest of the week. After good meta report, Boeing report, maybe we'll see some follow through to the upside tomorrow, but we'll see. Let's take a look at this, and then we'll get my thoughts on everything, and I'll see if you guys have any comments on what I put together. With all that being said, this is all for educational purposes, and I'm Gator, here to entertain you on this 7/26 year of our Lord 2023. Howdy, howdy, howdy. Alrighty, guys, let's jump right into this. Actually, so first, do apologize. My daughter has been waking up. My kids have been waking up a little bit. And things have been slightly, just texting really quick, things have been slightly slow. I might have to jump up and run. Hopefully I don't in the middle of the show. Today was interesting with the FOMC in the afternoon. I had a idea of not doing too much early. I actually traded more than I planned to trade. I took more trades than I planned to do because there were just some decent setups when the market kind of crashed early and put in that early morning range. And so I was like, the trades were there, so I took them. Give me 1 second, and then we'll kick this. How are you guys? How did you guys do today? And I'll cheers you while we're sitting here. Cheers. A little bit of, I actually had some Bookers earlier, but this is just 1792 small batch, nothing special, but a good sipper. Doesn't go well after Bookers. It's almost like water, you know? Good stuff, though. Let's see. All right, I'm very sorry for the lag here. Sorry. Good evening, Rebecca. All right, let's take a look at our plan from this morning. What I wrote down, here you go. Today's post, I only had 4 different ones. Maybe I can learn to highlight these in something, or I'll put them on some other type of screen. These are the Discord posts from earlier today. We had idea 1, NVIDIA. So a note on these things, I write these before the last 15 minutes of the market. So like I'm writing these starting somewhere around 8:45, 8:40, a little bit after that. Yep, that's the first one I'm going to be going over, S-Bag, or Beige, S-Beige, B-A-G-E, as long as I do hope my daughter does not wake up right now and make me run down there in the middle of talking through NVIDIA. NVIDIA worked perfectly. So NVIDIA is a good case example of what I'm doing working, but it looks different than what I'm typing, and I didn't, either way, let's take a look at it. All right, so we look at NVIDIA, and we're like, let's get rid of this for right now. And we're like, okay, well, how do we get here? So we open up, when I'm writing this, if I can look at pre-market, let's see if I can add pre-market in the last 2 sessions. That's pre-market. All right, so this is pre-market in the gray here. So I'm looking at NVIDIA. I start writing my notes around 45, actually, when it's at its lows. So you have to see, I'm just looking at this when I start writing my notes. My notes said NVIDIA is very tight after yesterday's breakout. So we had this breakout and we have this range. Setting up at the open, I'm seeing this, and I'm seeing this on my pre-market charts. I'll be looking for a as long as 455.24 holds. 455.24 is, let's throw up a line here. What was that? 455.24. So for the sake of this, let's take here 455.24. We'll talk through NVIDIA. Oh, it's battery. That is not good. I'll turn that off. Hopefully that doesn't die on me. Sorry, daughter's monitor is dying. I'm just going to turn it off, and my wife will yell at me if the baby's crying. When she comes out, she'll be like, didn't you hear them? I'll be like, no, the battery died. So I was looking at this last pivot low. I was like, well, as long as this holds up early, you know, I'm looking for a long. So if you go really slow into this and we kind of grind down into this, I'm looking for a pop. And really around 45 or 55 was what I was looking at, 55.24, which was a low there, 22. I said 24, it doesn't matter. I'll be looking for a move into 464, which that didn't happen, so it doesn't matter. But if that held up, I was looking for a move higher. If we don't hold up, meaning that if we're here and you do something like this, I'm looking for a 451 test. So I'm looking for the name to really come in. The reason I possibly liked it long was at the open, you pop back up, you're opening up near above the 15-minute 200. You're opening up above the 5-minute 200. You're opening up at above a lot of different levels. So I'm looking at that to possibly give me a breakout up here above the 2-minute 200. So we're right at resistance. So if we punch up through resistance, hold and flag, we're going to go higher. If we break down, we're going to break down. And obviously here, we broke down. So if we don't hold up, you'll see the Tesla 151 bounce, and then there's some support around 455.2. So unless we just tank, I'm not looking to short this at the open. I'll front run a breakout through 460 if we catch a bid early. So if we caught a bid, I was going to go it. I wasn't looking to short it if we just grinded lower. However, we tanked. So when you're talking about what I was looking for is when I said if it tanks, this is a tank. You know, you just instantly open up and you just give it up. 1 minute follow through. And then we actually ended up coming all the way down to way lower, down about, you know, by 11 o'clock. It was like way lower than I thought, about 446.30. But your initial drop was right down to 151.50 or 51.50. So how I got that level was looking left on the chart and basically seeing where we broke out from, where the top of this previous candle was, and previous pivots that have formed. So when I see that, I kind of look at these previous pivots. I look at the volume at price, and I kind of put together, okay, well, there's a pivot here, there's a pivot here, there's a pivot here. So in this area, if I was to fib it, I'm looking for around 451, which is the top of this line, price. And then if you zoom in to the left, the bottom of the breakout candle is 449. So, you know, on a drop, I didn't think it was going to come this fast, to be honest with you. But on a drop like that, I would assume we would come down into that. And then after that, after you get your initial move or your hard move, we came back up and then we consolidated and we went lower. So to talk through it, basically, you're at the top of a range, the top of the flag. If you fail really hard and you cut through the bottom of it, you could look for a move into the 451 area was where I thought we were going to go. And we went about 50 cents away from 451. Consolidated up, rolled over at the floor trader pivot and did a second leg lower. If you traded this second leg, you would have been looking at something like this. You know, you could have shorted at some point in here and you hit the 127 at 459, which would have lined up with the top of this. That would have been my target and my out. It obviously went a little bit lower than that, filled the gap, and then we came all the way back up and retraced. And now in the pre-market, we're actually doing fine. You're right back kind of in this range. So we'll see what happens tomorrow. I'll take a look at the charts in the morning. But that's how I came up with that level. Another way, something else I might have been looking at was just this inclining, this line here. Looking at that, possibly another way. I looked at it and kind of guessed where we would be at. So sometimes what I'll do is I'll look at this and I'll be like, if this takes all day and we crash, it'll probably be 11 o'clock by the time we hit. Again, I was wrong with that. And I can look at it and be like, hey, that might be around 451 or so. And so that's how I came up with NVIDIA and the levels. And that's how that one worked. We opened up right at the breakout. We instantly failed, crashed hard, and then came down to target. So if you caught that one, congrats. I'm glad it worked for you, at least US bag. That's what I'm here for. If I can help you make money, then I have done my job. Microsoft was the next name we had. This gap down. I'll take this. We were just going around here at the moment. Let me take these chart properties off. Microsoft, nice gap down. Earnings are hard to play. I'll be looking for some retracement into 342, 344 area on profit taking. If I can't get over 339.90, I'll look for some follow through to pre-market lows at 332 if it wants to sell off. All right, so I wrote this in the pre-market when Microsoft was a lot lower. So let's turn the pre-market back on. That's what I wrote, and what I was looking at when I wrote that was the stock was down here. Again, I'm writing this at like prior to 9 o'clock. So I'm writing this here, and then I post the note at, you'd have to go in the other chat, 9:05. So I post this note at 9:05. So we're right here when I'm done writing this, and then this happens. So I'm looking for a pop to 344 or so on profit taking retracement instead of waiting for the market to come. Like if this happened after the market opened, I would have shorted this so hard on this down, because this is where I was looking for it to come into. Why? You look left, you have this value area about 335, 345, you have a pivot low. I've got this little level marked here. I could probably widen it out some, and I took this gap. That's something else actually. That has nothing to do with this. This was the second leg on this short for a target. So either way, thought you were going to retrace. I think that was roughly 50%. You can see 50% retracement of the down move. If we would have opened up about where I fibbed it was going to be, I was guessing it was going to open up between 39 and 38. And then I thought your 50% retracement on that is 34.50. So I'm looking for somewhere between the 38 and 50% retracement, 33 and 34 respectively on a bounce, and then watch it roll over and die. Come back into pre-market lows. Instead, it popped up here pre-market, opened up and went down with the market, popped back up and actually, did fine. If you look at the rest of it, if you look at the rest of the move, we ended up coming down to 339. We actually went way below that, so kind of missed that. Or wait, 39, looking 32. Sorry, looking for a sell-off into 32. We missed 32. We missed 32, it was 33.40, so you can say I was about 1.5 points off on that one. It ended up actually doing this. If you fib this whole down move and consider it like this, it did hit the 127. I think you're still going to follow through to 32 tomorrow, or at least there's a chance of that happening. I have to look at some other things. Maybe not. I'm not positive on that. I'm going to look at that some more later. You hit the 127, you bounce pretty good, add some support. Here's a key support line I've had for some reason for a while. So there are some buyers down here. We'll see what happens tomorrow. I wouldn't be surprised if we test 32. I might be looking for that. We'll see where we open. 31.70, there's this anchored VWAP that's important from a long time ago, from all the way back here on your pivot high. No, that's not the one. This one is. So it would be interesting to see if we come down and tag. If we come down and tag 27, and there's one in here too. There's another one that I can't seem to find. I'm going to have to delete. I think it's this one. So I wouldn't be surprised to see us test lows, lower lows on this name. We'll see. I don't have many thoughts on it, but that was the idea on the name. The upper part of the level was right. Just the way I wrote it, or by the time it worked, it didn't work very well. So, what are you gonna do? You can't call them all right. But I think the idea was there. I didn't short this one on the first one. I did short it a little bit later. Netflix. I think this was one that did not Did not work. Lance, if you're watching, props to you. So I did not write the short idea on this. All I wrote was a long idea, just looking at this for like a little bit of a dip here, thinking that it might test a little bit higher. Netflix, I said if this can either hold up 423.58 or gets a bid at the open, I would look for a breakout into, I said like 4,000, but I meant $433 and possibly 437 on a long. My entry would be somewhere around 430. Which would be right up here. Looking at it pre-market, obviously it didn't do that, but if it was hanging out up here and it kind of cut up to the top and we caught a bid, I'd be looking for that breakout. Didn't happen, sold off. I didn't write a short idea into it. I actually took it long because it opened up right where I said I thought support was at. And I took I had like 200 shares and I took a 2-point loss on it, so it wasn't a lot. I would have added as we went up. I thought, hey, maybe we'll pop. Obviously, the market sold, so I took a little loss. You heard that one on the mic if you were listening today. I ended up jumping back in it short a little bit later and made my money back, so that was fine. But yeah, we sold off. Good job, Lance, on that one. You called that one down to like 411, 412, and you shorted that all day. So if you're watching, props to you. Freaking great trade, dude. Great trade. I could have traded that one better, and I wish I would have thought about it in the idea of what happens if we break down. Netflix is a mover, but I didn't. And hey, that's why I do these reviews. It lets me know some things I did wrong. Oh, here's your Meta after hours. So Meta had earnings today. I said if we hold 300 at the open, I think you can move to 304. I would rather see it come in to test 298 or 297.50, put in a bottom and bounce. If you can't bounce and get back above 300, I think you'll see a gap fill. What was I saying? Gap fill. Oh, that was the gap fill. So pre-market. So worked kind of like a charm. You came in at the open. We couldn't catch a bid. We came down to 96.14. I actually longed this. So I looked at this way at the open per my plan. I'm pretty sure you guys heard me call this one out. Yeah, you did. Because I know I was talking about this one. So this one sold off. Per my plan, I said 298 to 297.50 to 298. It usually, if it cuts below my level and then flags above it, I will take it for a long as it's retaking that level. It did end up doing that here. I took it long. I have to go back and look at the other room, but sometime around one of these candles, held through this shakeout, ended up taking it up into here and then sold all but 10% of the position, sold the rest down here, the last runner, in case it broke out. And then we actually did come back in and ended up testing 330, or we ended up testing 304. I didn't even call a short in this one, I don't think. For a later, gap fill. I said it would gap fill. So once you failed to get above 300, I didn't play this because I had to take the car to the dealership. Our car had a flat tire, or was about to have a flat tire. Sadly, I had to take this to the dealership. So I think I missed this one. I don't remember when I left. I think it might have been 11. I might have caught some of this one. But I don't think I was thinking correctly. I don't think I was thinking right. And this is a midday trade I should have got. This is part of me making notes and needing to mark stuff on my charts, that when something sets up, so they this is one of those things that I need to notice, because I said if it fails 300, so we had this bounce and we came back up, but then part of the plan too said, hey, if you can't get over 300, you're going to test 292. Look, we tested 292. We did 291. So Meta even worked almost exactly to plan, just not exactly how I thought it was going to work. And I need to start seeing my levels in a little bit wider view and not focusing maybe on just the short term. When you have something like this, a nice V bottom, it goes up. I said if it platforms, it goes higher. We didn't. We rolled over. A lot of the market did. We came in on Meta into support. Where I got that level was just the bottom. You can just kind of look at the last pivots and stuff, and I don't remember. I probably fibbed some things and came up with some other ideas, but either way, 392 was where I fill the gap. I said I fill the gap, right? So all I was expecting was the gap fill at 94. I don't know why I'm thinking 92. It might have been another thing that I was looking at, or I have it written on something else on some other notes. But Either way, I think I could have shorted this once it failed this 200 and this 21 and it started coming down. I think a good play would have been to possibly short that and realize that the idea was still active for a gap fill once you couldn't break above 300 and get your move, because then at this point, if you take the you take your edit pivots off. So this is something I've got to work on and figure out how I want to do this, even if I'm supposed to do this. But just realizing when you have a double top and you can't get through it and there's volume trying to push you through it if you look at the bottom, and then you just fail and you come back in, and really here a break of 298.24 and the failure to get above it, really that's a short to guarantee your gap fill. Because once you pop here and you have this bounce and you can't hold this, you are really looking at a probable gap fill. So I did miss this opportunity, I believe, and I think I could have played that better. So that was a missed opportunity, while a decent idea that played out even after the fact. I need to learn how to look back at those and kind of realize where I'm at in the movement, maybe a little bit too zoomed in on some of what I'm doing in the day and not focused enough on my levels and ideas. I think I shorted Tesla around here. I think this, I shorted Tesla. That's why I didn't short Meta. I shorted Tesla. If you guys were here, I took Tesla. I think CT was here and we were talking about this one. No, CT was gone, but me and Joe, we were talking about this because I longed Tesla here and sold some and then held the rest, got stopped out, and then got stopped out somewhere and then shorted Tesla here on this break. And I don't remember where I sold. I think into day low. I think I probably sold into here or here. I called it out at the time. I don't remember. I would have sold somewhere around 65, I think. But be that as it may, that's probably why I didn't do Meta. I was focused on Tesla because it also failed that 2-minute 200. Yeah, that was the day. After that, I broke even on FOMC trading. Took a win early. Didn't do anything. I was just inside all day. So took a win early, took a loss. Took a win, took a few losses. I probably took 5 trades the whole time. There just wasn't anything I liked. I was listening to Powell. You know, what are you gonna say? He's pushing everything down the road. I think the market could interpret it as bearish. The SPY looks prime for a pop and a run. The Qs do the same. The market knows it's got another 2 months until September. August, September, yeah. Until you're going to get anything, so they know what they're dealing with. You got inflation numbers and other data that are coming out. That's going to be a big factor. The Qs, I don't know. So I don't have a lot of confidence either way. I'm going to take the market as I see it. Right now we're still range bound. I'll wake up tomorrow and just kind of reset everything. I'll see where we're at. What up, Dari? I'll see where we're at. I'll see see what I think the charts look like in the morning when I look at it in the pre-market, kind of get a fresh look at everything after looking at things all day today. And then I'll play it from there. I mean, I don't really think there's much else there as far as all that goes, So just finished winning over my stuff. If you guys are here, I definitely forgot. Yeah, I'll trade the chart, man. I'm not into predicting things. I'll just trade the charts. If you guys are here, I always forget to say leave a like and subscribe if you're not subscribed. I am trying to get to 1,000 subscribers. That would be freaking sweet if you guys would help me get there. And leave a like on the videos. It brings people in, and it does help out. So if you guys are here and you want to do that and you want to, you think this content's worth it, throw it out there. If you want to see some stuff added to this, eventually I'll probably start throwing in some trades. I'm always cautious with showing trades, live results and stuff, more because of size than anything. Sizing in and the way I trade isn't always conducive to some people. Yeah, I look at daily and weeklies. So, I always start off my day looking at daily charts, and I've already seen the weekly chart. If you've seen it, you don't have to look at it every day, weekly and monthly, but I'm looking at the daily chart to kind of start off to see where we're at, where our 21 and 8s are, go through all my different charts, that I like to trade, and then I don't trade that anymore. And then I'll usually go in from there. So if there's something I really like, I then go down to the hourly. I see where we're at. I then go down to the 15-minute and see where we're at. And I kind of just weed things out higher to lower. So daily patterns I like, weekly patterns I might really like, and then I just take it in from hourly and weekly and daily, and then 2-minute. And so sometimes it takes me a minute to start posting charts, because if I start off my process, I write down 5, 10, however many charts I like, and then I just weed them out by time frame, getting smaller and smaller and smaller. What can I call out at the open that I think has potential for a morning move or a, you know, an earlier in the day move, and then I just kind of change it up from there, and then I just adjust. And that's kind of what I do. And that's kind of how I play it. I don't know if you have any other questions on that, but I figure that for me that's the best way. Then I see larger moving averages, larger patterns, larger time frames. And trade Tesla. Yeah, dude, that's basically it. It's like do all that other stuff and then in the end ignore it all and just trade Tesla. Honestly, that's the way it goes. Just ignore everything, trade Tesla. Trade. Just trade Tesla. That's all you got to do. Tesla does pay. I'm pretty sure Kelly just does everything off Tesla. If all I did was trade Tesla, I could probably make a living off of it the way that it moves for right now. I don't, obviously. I think you're missing stuff if you do other stuff, but nah, Tesla is just such a great trading vehicle. Telling my wife the monitor's dead, so she won't get too mad at me. I do I think I did have NVIDIA on focus today. It wasn't on like my early, I don't remember what oh yeah, I had Netflix for some stupid reason, and then I shorted something else. Yeah, NVIDIA was on focus. NVIDIA was my main focus. I shorted it at one point, and I traded it a couple of times today. You know, NVIDIA was on focus for me. It was the first name I posted. It's like if you look at what I did, and the literal first name I looked at was NVIDIA. It was my main focus today. So, yeah, I didn't call it enough. I didn't trade it enough. I definitely could have done better. I didn't. I think I said that at my open. Like it didn't break out. It went in. I did short it. I missed this short. I think I took one of the shorts later in the day with a Tesla short. I can't remember, but I have to go back and look at my actual trades. I need to journal more. I don't journal a ton of my trades. I've been able to do it more now that I'm only trading like sub 20 trades a day. It's much easier. But when I'm hyper scalping, it's really hard to journal like 50, 100 trades when you're doing these micro scalps. Generally, I just block all those trades or I kick them out, and I just do a few at a time instead of all of them, you know. I put them in like groups. Did I look at UPST? I never trade UPST. Apparently, I should have on Monday. I saw people calling it out. It was great. Rode the 8. You had the 8 train up. Your first pullback into the 8 on the 5-minute was a buy. 2-minute on Monday, consolidated, broke out. Here's your first inside bar at 10 p.m. That would have been a buy. So it looked freaking awesome. I think CT might have been trading it on Monday. I can't remember. I'd have to ask him tomorrow. But that's a definite buy on this consolidation. Your breakout, your first resting bar, you know, your first tag of the 8. It tagged the 21 here for the first time. It was a clear breakout out of a range. Beautiful. I don't know why it was, but it definitely did. I did not trade it. Do I write my levels on paper? No. I write other things on paper. Like if I have a trading plan or something I need to remember, I write levels on like Google Notes and then I post it in chat. And then I have alerts that I set on my chart. Like if I had something I wanted to do here, I'd put a line and just set an alert to pop something up. So like I'll get a notification if, you know, NVIDIA broke out through here, or this did this, or if I need to look at it, or if I have something I know I want to see. I'm looking at a weekly level that's going to break. If a name starts getting close to it and I'm looking at it that day, I'll have something set on it. Like today, I might have started this day with a flag. Like I might have done something like this and been like, you know what, if we break yesterday's low, or if we break this line, I'm going to set an alert. Amazon company, restart when triggers, maximum of a year, and this line will then be an alert trend. So as soon as it breaks this line, I could do it. I could bump that line up a little bit, and then that would be my short. So then as Amazon went through day lows, or the Friday's lows, I could have it trigger, you know, something like that. Obviously it gapped down and came back up, you know. So what I could have done on this gap down is like, hey, I don't want to trade this gap, but I'm gonna see what it does when it fills the gap. So I could just put this alert here at the beginning of the day, set an alert, and I'll do that sometimes. And then when it comes up, I'll get an alert, and then I'll just change it to one of my 9 charts. And that, to me, that's like the extreme level. So I only put really alerts at buy setups or extreme levels. And then when I get those extreme levels and they tag, I'll jump to them. And I can then see, is it failing at this level? Is it breaking out at this level? What do I need to do? And I'll wait and do something like that. Did they? They probably did. People are going to run out of money. XPEV E or XPEV. This one? I don't trade names like this. Now, obviously it did though. It went from like, you know, nothing. You just rip up. You know, you're up this. You come back in. Flagging now. Bear flagging possibly, or I don't know. Actually, putting in a range. 2-minute 200 catching up to you. Yeah. Definitely out of move. I can't say I trade many of the names like that. I'd probably do better if I did sometimes, but that is crazy. Yeah, if you yeah. There's also this company, I don't remember what it's called. It's like a conservative non-woke shop or something. SPQ Holdings. Yeah, this is it. I had some people texting me about it at $11 and stuff. I didn't, and you know, telling me it was going live and it ran all the way up. They asked me what to do. I told them to sell. So I don't know if they did or not. Hopefully they did. Yeah, Public Square. And not because I don't like the company. I'm all about some non-woke stuff, but you know, just the way these SPACs work and stuff, you just have this massive run up. You're gonna have a lot of stuff. You're gonna come back in and test and see if people can hold. It's the same as Rumble, you know, great potential, all that other stuff. But just because you like something doesn't mean, or you're with it, doesn't mean you need to just blindly take a stake in something and that, oh, the stock's automatically gonna run up like and pretend that it's Amazon. So Rumble actually can be near some support here. That's where it was at before. Now it's here. Stocks are so manipulated. Yeah, Public Square. I've had some people tell me about it. I'll probably shop on it and stuff. In case y'all don't think that I'm not one of the, I'm all about that. But when it comes to money and trading, I'm about trading and making money, not anything else. And then outside, I'll keep my whiskey, my guns, my church. And if you don't like that, you can listen to some Jason Aldean in the morning and try that in a small town and everything else that pisses people off, because you don't have to listen to me and I don't care if you do or if you don't. And that's not political, because I have not a lot, but I have plenty of people on both sides of the political aisle I'm friends with. Doesn't matter. Well, that's what I've got. Snow. Snow is always on my list, but I never trade it. Like, I always look at it, never trade it. Don't know if I just don't like how it moves. probably just don't like how it moves. And I don't like this pattern. Like, I wouldn't like anything in here if I wasn't shorting it up here on the failed breakout. Because, well, now you're at the bottom of the range, actually. So, snow could be a bounce. If you don't bounce, you've got to come into 57. Right? I mean, you're just in a range. You know, up and down, up and down. 57 is your support. A lot of topping tails, failure to break out, failure, failure, failure. Yeah. Well, you're at the bottom of a short-term range in snow. This is one of those that are interesting now that you mention it. Because you've got support where you're at. But man, if you start selling off and losing it, you know. Maybe you're going to bounce. If not, I don't see how 55, 57 doesn't come in and test. So, that's just me. I don't know where all the volume's at in this name. I have to do a little bit more looking, but I could definitely see that. Yeah, it needs to break out of the range in either direction. There's no play right now, other than if you want that bounce. Sorry. Shop. Oh, Shopify. Daily. You finally caught up to the hourly 200. You're in a downward channel. You've had a few hours of consolidation here. There's nothing to say it's going to bounce yet. I keep saying That's hourly. That's overhead. That's overhead. There's no reason for any stuff to sell. So here's where some of your volume's at. You could get a snapback in the name this week. I would be cautious with it. Very tight descending channel. If you're to draw a pitchfork, you probably get a good look at it too, just the range that you've been in. You're by no means breaking out of anything right now. If you did something like this on the hourly, it looks decent to actually be hitting the levels. If you have a snapback tomorrow and snow through 65, did we do anything in the pre-market? Yeah, a little bit. No, not really. Not really. Watch snow tomorrow. If you guys are watching the show this long, and if snow works, you better come back and leave a like on this video. So snow looks, there's nothing that's overly strong about it. You're just kind of in this downward channel and trend. It can keep going. You got to break through the top of this. It's pretty decent line. If we get through yesterday's, if we have an inside day, or you can break through the 8 at the top through 65, I think you could see a snapback to test 67 and possibly 68. 65. You'd have to be, that'd get you back above this. You're kind of just in this range right now, and if you keep selling off and you stay in that channel, I think you're going to come down and test these pivot lows around 61 bucks. So I'm not saying you're breaking out tomorrow. I'm just saying you're coming, you know, you've just been failing that, riding this descending line over and over and over. And so if I was looking at it, I'd say, hey, if you can flag out instead of going down, kind of break this line, and you might be able to catch a bid to get back above some of this value area. But I think most people are probably not green in this from when they got in. See this one, that's below. You see, that's where you're really gonna try to come into 62. And then down here, 62, yeah, you're looking about the same thing. So low end support, another $2 to the downside in Shopify. And if you think this is gonna run with Amazon, you might get a snapback to 67, especially if you can hold. If I looked at this tomorrow, I would say 65.50 would be my long ish for a move into 67.50 for a 2-point move. You could get more to the downside. You're looking at $62 or so. These anchored VWAPs will probably test. So I'll delete this one, which is the higher one. So I'll give it a little bit lower, and I'll say this one on the pullback, which is actually where we hit today. So let's edit this. Let's make it white. And let's do this, and let's make it white. So you hit that today. So most people from this pullback are now flat on average, or they bounced it there. So if you get below that, you're going to test 61. If you can hold up and break out through 65 tomorrow, you probably see 67. That would be what I'd put in my notes. Look at the daily range on the ATR is about $2, $2, $2, you know, $2 to $3 on big days, $3, right? Yeah, big days, $3, other days, $2. So $2 from the lows tomorrow could get you to 61, 62. You probably see a bounce down here. That would be a pretty hard sell-off. Hopefully you'd see a bounce down here. If eventually you lose that, you know, you're really going to be coming in. So if you like this name, you kind of wanted to start holding up and holding the top of this previous value area. You had this value area, you came back into it. You want to see a spring if you want this to go higher. Just my thoughts. Hopefully that kind of answers your question. It's not anything that I particularly love. You are trending higher, so at least short term. All of this. There's that. You came out. Yeah, so I'll watch it. I'll check it. If you remind me in the mornings and stuff, I'll check it for you if you want me to throw it up and tell you what I think. Is the 10th another pivot low in AVWAP? I'm about to go to bed, guys. AVWAP, anchored VWAP, the 10th. I mean, you can keep throwing them on the 10th. What's the 10th? This one? 8th, 10th, 9th. There is no 10th. 195. What are you talking about? What do I think of Apple? Apple's great. It's probably the strongest name. Anchored VWAP, if that's what you're talking about in shop. The 10th wasn't a date, I don't think. If you're talking about the 8th, 9th, 10th, you're talking about the 9th. It is, but I mean, it depends on how many you want to throw up. Or are you talking about this 10th? That can't be the 10th. Oh, this 10th. Yeah, you could put another pivot low here. It's not as significant. You could put it is another pivot low. If you want to put that there, you're under that pivot low and you kind of need to get above it. You could do this and you could do this. It's all about what works. This one seems pretty decent. That kind of coincides with that. You could put one here. Your day high today is basically your anchored VWAP. So July 10th. Yeah, I got you. Sorry, Joe. I'm tired. This is technically another pivot low. I don't put them at every pivot low. Your anchored VWAP there is going to be 66 or so. That would be a good, decent first level of resistance tomorrow if you break out, for sure. Yeah, I got to look at it tomorrow and see what the market's doing. I usually take this stuff into account. And you did kind of bear flag here, and then you broke down. So if you don't spring, you're just going to keep coming down to 62. There's nothing that says it's coming back. It's just I would want it to come back if I was looking for it to bounce. Otherwise, I think you're going lower. Apple, 195, yeah. I mean, looking at it here, look decent. Held up today, one of the stronger names. You're trending higher. You've got the 15-minute below you, 200, 5-minute 200 below you, and your 2-minute 221 are going to be right in here. Even with everything, you're going to be fairly tight. If you take out that 94.80 tomorrow, I would definitely be looking for a long in Apple up to, you know, all-time highs. I don't know that it goes tomorrow, but if the market runs, Apple's probably going to be your runner. And once you get above 95, you really don't have a lot of resistance. You know, there's not a lot of volume up here. So I would imagine if you can break out on Apple, you're gonna, you know, eventually go to 200. So I would watch Apple. Apple is on my watch list tomorrow because of what this looks like. Especially if we can get through 95, you know, 95.50 or so, you could go up. Going to be watching the 2-minute. You closed right below it. Let's see if we can catch a bid tomorrow morning in Apple through 280 and push higher. It's definitely possible. for sure. So it is on my watch list for tomorrow. Yep. I'm just loosely spitting out areas. I don't have an exact one at the moment. It's all about feel. It's a mix of feel and exact levels, you know. Computers wouldn't say that, but yeah. It's really held this 15-minute 200. So, Apple's on watch. A lot of topping tails on the daily, but still, you're holding up. It's a strong name. Nothing leads to that, just the chart. Everything's possible. Apple could pop and Apple could go down. It could do whatever it wants to do. I'm just saying what's going to happen if I play it. I don't, you know. So if it goes up, just because you're fairly tight, and then if the market wants to rally off Fed, you probably test, you know, it was one of the stronger names today holding up. You probably test the 295.50s, and you could probably test all-time highs. I'm not trading off of it right now. You've got higher pivot low, higher pivot low, higher pivot low. You know, this was just flagging, dipped, instant higher pivot low. You know, if you break down, you're going to test 91 or 90 or so to test these lows. Nice, you know, hourly hammer candle here off the 21. You're holding the 21 pretty well. After you came in, if you break down, you're coming in into 92.50 or so, probably. You know, maybe 91.50, and then we'd see from there. Anchored VWAP down here somewhere. Just looking at all that stuff. Apple very tight, kind of forming a cup. You might get a handle and a push. So it just depends on what you want to do. But if it breaks this range, like Dari's saying, if it breaks, yeah, that's R3 from today, not tomorrow. So if it breaks this 95 range, I think you're going to get a move. And there's a couple ways you could draw this measured move. You could do something like this, and you could do this, and you could, this isn't exact. Please don't kill me. You know, that's just a move into all-time highs. And I would say that that's a loose one. I think you're probably going to get more than that. Obviously, once you get into all-time highs, all bets are off. So you're looking at a move into $200. If Apple breaks that range, I think you got at least a $5 move, not in a day, but you got at least a $5 move up to the 200 area is what I would look for if I was calling a swing trade, if I was that kind of person that traded that. And around 94, you know, somewhere below, right around the close is where I would say my support's at tomorrow morning, just looking at it here. 93, you know, if you can hold up 93, 94, 93.50 tomorrow morning and bounce, I would look for a move into at least 95 and a test of the breakout. Then the question is, do you break out? You break out, you got to swing into 200. So look it up. Just, I can send you a link. Just look it up. It's anchored from a position on the chart. Like you drop an anchor, and it anchors from a position on a chart, not from just everyday calculated everyday average. So a video will explain it better than I can in a few minutes. I've been going longer than I wanted. Great. Thanks for all the comments, guys. Thanks for talking, for chatting. Hopefully some of the stuff I posted can help. I don't mind. I definitely am all about being on and looking at stuff. So, and chatting more than just me talking and logging off. So I really appreciate you guys hanging out and chatting. It helps me prep for the next day. Hopefully it preps all of us for the next day. I'll take a look at Shop and Apple in the morning. Definitely some that'll be on the list. We'll see what's up. I'm going to try to get better about the way I trade some of the names on my kind of watch list and stuff. When I see things happening, I need to figure out a way to kind of get better at that. But all that being said, I hope you guys had a good FOMC week so far, a good day. I think tomorrow could be fun. We'll see how the market digests the news and the earnings. Again, for the sake of, channel, you can leave a like, do all that kind of fun stuff if you do feel so inclined. I appreciate you guys hanging out. Have a great night, and I will see you roughly at 8:45, 9 o'clock tomorrow morning in Discord. Have a great day.